Politics, business, sports, arts, music. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty. Mike and Marty on the feed. Mike and Marty.
Good morning, Bellows Falls and Keene. It's Mike and Marty on the feed, and we're here today with Mario Hernandez. We're going to be talking about the Grafton Historical Society. They have a dinner coming up and a whole bunch of other interesting things. But first, Marty with local events.
Local events. So at the Bellows Falls Opera House this week is the movie Goat, which is, because I had to look it up.
I know, it's an odd
It's
movie.
about a small goat with big dreams of becoming a pro roar ball player.
Which is similar to basketball.
Oh,
But-
that I didn't know.
yeah.
I thought it was going to be similar to football, but actually, as I'm looking at the picture, it does look like more like he has a basketball. So anyway, interesting. And that runs through the 24th. The classic movie is truly a classic. This is Spinal Tap. It's honoring Rob Reiner. And I've never seen the movie, but I did watch a little bit of the
The classic,
preview.
up to 11.
Oh, I didn't get. I didn't.
The amps go up to 11 instead of 10.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. It just seems like there's a lot of subtle, funny,
inside music sort of jokes.
Yeah, if you remember hair bands from the 80s. So a lot is happening at the library this weekend. If you recall, we had Ian Graham and Sky Peoples here last week. They talked about some specific things, but just to remind everybody, this is the Saturday for legislators at the library, which is every month while they're in session, the third Saturday. It's normally from 10:30 till 12. They call it conversations now. And either all four of them are there or whoever can make it is there. This particular week, it's only going to be 10:30 to 11:30 because at 11:30, Michelle Boslin is going to be running a special program to really talk about the legislative process and how it works, which I think is important, and I think especially important for everyone to really understand, like how does it really work?
Right,
Because it
it's
seems
sort
like
of
it's
a biannual thing,
and it's kind of weird.
And there's committees.
I mean, they talk about committees and
Yeah.
bills and anyway, so that's happening, and then so that's like for state level information, and then from 2:30 to 4 p.m. Again, it's on the third floor of the library. Their big meeting room upstairs is a candidate forum. It'll be the candidates that are running for Rockingham Select Board. It is free and open to the public, and I believe FACT will be streaming it because there's only 88 seats up there. And all of the folks that have put their name in the hat for running have been invited. I would assume they would all attend, but there will be some predetermined questions, and they will be taking some questions from the audience. So we are having a changing of the guard this year. I believe there's 2 long-term select board members who are not returning. So this has opened up an opportunity for new folks to come on. So if you're wanting to get involved locally and be informed, check out the library 2:30 to 4 on Saturday.
And then when's the election? Is it on the 28th?
So town meeting is on the 28th, Saturday the 28th. It'll be, I think it's at the BF Middle School. I think that's where they have it. And I still am wrapping my brain around the fact that it got moved to a Saturday because it was so ingrained in it being an evening. And then that Monday, I guess, would be Australian ballot.
Tuesday, though.
Tuesday would be Australian ballot then. Okay. And then happening on Sunday is a Blue Door Soup, Supper, and Chat out at 24 Main Street. That's the community building in Saxton's River. It's a free gathering, and it's just a gathering for folks and neighbors to come get together, break bread, have soup. John Shepard will be talking about his experience growing up in Saxton's River. Donations are accepted if you want to donate to the Blue Door, and you need to use the Blue Door entrance, which is actually on River Street. That's why there's a little picture of the Blue Door. You don't go in through the church entrance. And again, just reminding everybody that cabaret tickets are on sale. We have David Stern coming in a couple of weeks to give us his whole take on the production, and it will be showing April or not showing because it's not a movie, but it will be performing. Thank you. April 3rd through the 12th at the Bells Falls Opera House. So those are my
All right.
events this
Great.
week.
Lots happening.
There's lots of
Seems
happening.
like
Lots of happening.
yeah,
Also.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of political things. We haven't. Seems like it's been quiet for the last couple of years, but
Yeah, I think because I
bubbling
think
up
nobody's
again, huh?
nobody's been running against anybody. I think it's been
Yeah.
just like, please run because nobody's running for the
Yeah,
seat. I
yeah,
think it's been
yeah.
that. So now there's again there's I think there's two people that have been on for a while and they're just kind of giving someone else a turn,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
awesome.
Good. Mario, good to see you.
Thanks for having me back.
Yes, well, thanks for coming. So you have an event coming up.
We do. Also on February 28th. So after you get done with town meeting, if you want to come out and have a traditional sugar on snow supper, we'd love to have you. So sugar on snow supper. This was one of the initiatives that I really wanted to revive or resurrect in Grafton. So my family has been in Grafton for a long time, and I remember growing up as this sugar on snow supper that we would do every year, and it would be it was a ham dinner with scalloped potatoes and just a nice basic ham dinner, but the treat was the sugar on snow afterwards, right? So for those of you that don't know, sugar on snow, you boil it to like a candy type.
Softball,
softball
stage or whatever they
hardball,
call it.
I can't remember exactly what it is. And then so it comes out hot, and then we get snow, and you drizzle that on there, and then you take your fork and you roll it up like spaghetti, and it creates a nice sweet treat. So the last one I remember doing prior to joining the Historical Society was 2011, and I was able to share that with my kids and my parents and grandparents were all there. But growing up, this was pretty regular. Like every year we would do sugar on snow. So when I joined the Historical Society, this was really a really important initiative that we wanted to bring back, and with the help of the board and all the local support, we've been able to resurrect. This is our third year.
I was just going to ask you.
Great.
I knew it was fairly. So I'm curious. Do you think there'll be enough snow this year?
I think so. There have been years past where we've had to travel far and
scramble.
wide for snow. That is not my. I was not. I delegated that to my uncle Eddie, and he will be in charge of snow. I think he'll have a pretty easy job this year.
Yeah, I think so. I think it could even be falling from the sky.
It might be.
That's
it might
possible.
What a year.
but yeah, you roll it up and it creates a nice sweet treat. And I remember my wife's first time, she thought we were all sorcerers or magicians, because when you're done with the leftover syrup, if you take your spoon and you just kind of stir, it takes a little while, but eventually it'll turn into maple candy.
Oh,
And then we
wow.
provide folks with some wax paper, and they can take it home and freeze it and have a little
perfect.
sweet treat the next day.
Nice.
So we
Is
had
there
a-
a pickle involved?
I was just going to
Yes.
ask that question
Yeah, so-
because that was the question that came up last week when we had Sky Peoples here from the library, and I was promoting it last week as a local event. Tell us the pickle.
So a traditional garlic dill pickle or a dill pickle is designed to cut the sweetness
Yeah,
of
that would be perfect.
of the sugar. So yes, there will be some pickles on the table when you come and have sugar on snow.
Perfect. I knew there had to be a reason, and I guess that's probably what it was,
Yeah.
but I didn't know if that was exactly it. Now you have something new happening this year. What's the new part?
Yeah,
to
so
it?
traditionally we've always done 2 seatings, but this year we moved it up with some feedback from some local people. We decided to do a 1 o'clock and a 5 o'clock seating, and the idea there is for folks that don't like to travel at night or don't want to
that's
get out at
very
night.
nice.
We really want them to still be part of the community, and so we're going to do a 1 o'clock seating. So we expect that one to fill up very fast. We typically sell out our first seating, but with it being 1 o'clock, we do expect that one to sell out pretty quickly. And really the whole point of this is to get people out, and we're coming into spring. It's going to happen. The snow will melt eventually, I promise. And this is really designed to get people out and really connecting much past social media or Facebook or Instagram, whatever you use, face to face and talking and having good conversation and laughing, and it's just a really nice event.
And where is it held?
It's at the chapel in Grafton. So
Okay, that's different from the White Church, right?
it's across the street from the White Church. Yep.
Okay.
So it's the chapel right there.
How do people? Do they obviously they need to make reservations?
I don't
Or is
think
it first
we're
come,
doing
first serve?
reservations.
Just
Pretty
first
much
come,
first come, first
okay.
serve. We last year was it was pretty nice. Everybody was wonderful. You would have people come in and sit, and then towards the end, people would come in and be like, "Hey, we want to do 4." So, hey, we have 4 seats, but there's 2 here, 1 there, and 1 there. If you want to sit with community members, maybe not together, we'd love to have you.
Oh, that's nice.
And we filled every seat we could, that especially that first sitting. So if you come and we have space in that first sitting, you maybe sit with someone you don't know, which is
actually a benefit, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
get
I think
to know people.
I think that sometimes happened at spaghetti dinners, didn't it?
yeah,
We
yeah.
in the Rotary, we'd do spaghetti dinners because we'd have the long tables, and maybe you couldn't all fit.
Yeah, but you get to chat and
you get
meet
to
new
chat.
people. And it's much better. Yeah.
And that's the whole bit, and the money goes to helping the
the money goes to Historical
Society.
Society, and that helps us. Keep the doors open. But what we do with that beyond that is we have we purchase things and to redo our displays. We are a couple of years into our digitization project. So with the help of some local donors, I think we spoke about that last time. We were able to purchase some equipment and start digitizing our collection. That does 2 things. Number one, it some of the stuff that doesn't need to be held onto anymore, we can digitize and put that up. And most importantly, it's accessible to everybody that maybe can't get to Grafton. So there's a lot of ties to Grafton throughout the country and the world. And if they're able to pull up old pictures or old documents, it's really designed to make our collection accessible. And so if you visit the museum, or when you visit the museum, it's right there off on the right hand side in the Pettingill room. We have our display, we have our scanner, we have our computers, and you can actually see some of this work in progress, which is great.
And I think something to point out, I was preparing for the show, and I just Googled Grafton Historical Society, and it took me to a website, and I clicked on it, and I was like, that's weird. It doesn't look like Grafton. So if you just do it that way, you might end up at the Grafton, Massachusetts Historical Society.
So there is a link between the two.
Oh, is there?
Oh,
I did not know that.
So way back when the town was founded, it was actually called Tomlinson, and the town decided, you know what, we want to change our name. So they held a public auction. The winning bid was $5 and a jug of rum. Okay, so we actually have a book in our museum called $5 and a Jug of Rum, which talks about the history of Grafton up until about the early 2000s. And the gentleman that won and made the bid of $5 and a jug of rum came from Grafton, Massachusetts, and named it after Grafton. And the jury's still out whether the town got the $5 or not. So after the jug of rum, they were all on board.
Yeah, $5 back in that time was a lot of money. That would probably be like a couple
late 1700s. Yeah. So $5 and a jug of rum is how we got our name.
That's funny.
From Grafton, Massachusetts.
Interesting. Is that story on the Grafton site?
Yeah, it's on the Grafton site, and we do have a really nice book that explains that, and it takes you through the early history of industrialization and the soldiers and the sheep farming and just soapstone industries that were so important in the I may get my dates wrong, but I believe in the mid 1800s there were 2,000 people in Grafton.
That's crazy.
And now we're 500.
Yeah,
Imagine Grafton at 2,000 people before there was road or electricities or any of the modern communities that we have. So at the height of the soapstone and the wool and all that, it was a pretty happening place.
I think we kind of forget. I think like living in Rockingham or Bells Falls, you forget how much rich history there was in this whole area, in Sexton's River, in Grafton, and I think it's just a cool place to go visit because it's really it's literally still got the quintessential.
It
Vermont.
does. It looks like a postcard,
it
right?
Does,
Like
totally.
if you were to go there on a snowy day and stand at the bottom of Main Street and look up, it does look like a postcard. And a lot of that is thankfully due to the Wyndham Foundation in the '60s. I believe they really made an effort to save a lot of the old buildings.
Right.
So if you look at some of the smaller towns like Cambridgeport or Houghtonville or places like that, a lot of those buildings have been torn down and gone by the wayside. But luckily, we were able to save that in Grafton and keep it looking the way it does.
And then so if people are looking for the Grafton, Vermont Historical Society website, it's graftonhistoryvermont.org.
And that's a new website that we launched this year.
Oh, nice.
The look and feel of it is very different. So if you've been there in the past, I would encourage you. It's much more modern. It's much more user friendly, and that is that's a direct result of the work that our team is doing with the digitization.
Tell me about the coffee stories. Is that something new?
The coffee stories are, I think we've been doing that about a year, and we invite local residents to just bring their pictures from when they were younger and talk about stories. So very similar to what it sounds like John is doing in Saxons River. We ask folks to come in, and the goal there is to not only capture the image, but what's the story behind the image, and what was happening in that image. And that's one thing that's been really popular.
It's kind of invaluable. Like we've had Ashley from Main Street Arts, and she's been doing a lot with capturing stories and storytelling. If we don't preserve that history, that somebody was actually there in that history, we're going to lose it
We are.
for the next generations. So people might think, oh, what does this historical society really do? It preserves. It preserves things that we need to know and we can learn from.
Yeah.
So we're on our 250th anniversary of 1776.
Yeah.
And are there, are you guys going to do any sorts of?
Yeah, we are. So we're going to
Yeah.
be redoing our displays for the 250th. We have a couple of pretty influential people that came out of Grafton, and Lucy Daniels is probably one of the ones that stick out in my mind, because she would encourage young women to go to the town to vote and pay their fine if they got fined or got in trouble. So and I think one of the things that she used to say was, we can't vote now, but you will be able to eventually. And she would really encourage. She was a suffragette out of Grafton, and just notable folks that came out of Grafton. And we'll be celebrating them. The town is putting on a big 250th. We're going to have a 250th parade. I believe it's in late July. I'm going to get the date wrong, so I won't say it.
When you, just out of curiosity, when you do a parade through Grafton, is it just kind of up the main street, or do you loop around by the school?
Well, when we do the dog parade for Memorial Day, or not Memorial Day, for Christmas in Grafton, they start up over by the road, Townsend Road, and they come down Main Street.
Oh, okay.
So I imagine the route is going to be similar. But the dog parade at Christmas time is a fan favorite.
I would imagine the dog parade at Christmas. Are they lit? Are the dogs lit? Do the dogs have lights on them?
Some of them have lights, and
I didn't even know you did that. We
behaved.
digress a little bit, but that's awesome.
So much. It is fun when we do that. So we'll do the parade. There'll be a couple of different events. That'll lead into a whole year celebration that we're looking to do, and of course our tractor show on Labor Day weekend. We'll be doing that again this year as well. So.
Good Americana.
Oh yeah. It's
It is
small
really
town,
good.
and you just come and hang out and experience community in Grafton. Really.
And does the so you have exhibits within the historical society? Do those change on a regular level?
They do change pretty regularly. We have a museum committee that works really hard. They make magic happen out of a shoestring budget, and it's pretty amazing on what they have. We just so some people may remember we had the Grafton Scrambles that were up for a few years. That's moving into a little bit of a smaller display, but it will be one more of our permanent ones. We have veterans display. We have soapstone display. We have some wings in the back that talk about the different families in Grafton.
I was just going to say, I think there's a really rich amount of folks that grew up in Grafton, and there's still families there. There's still a lot of family connections there, so that's awesome. You don't see that as much anymore.
Yeah, we have there are two names from, if you go back a couple hundred years, the Fishers and the Parks. There's still people living in Grafton that have been there since the late 1700s.
Related to the Parks.
Yeah.
Just saying. But, so it's interesting you bring up the scrambles, because I think how the chain of, or the thread started on Facebook was somebody posted a newspaper article about one of the later year scrambles, and we were talking a little bit prior to the show, and I just find the whole thing fascinating, because people that I know were commenting about when they were little, because it would have been the late
late 60s,
60s, about remembering like, oh my God, the motorcycle gangs are coming to town, lock up your daughters. And there's a whole story about the gangs would be the motorcycle folks would be coming looking to camp out. And there's a story about them driving, like a whole parcel of them coming up Kissel Hill thinking they could get to the high school fields to camp, and then realizing they couldn't and having to figure out how to get back down out of Kissel Hill. And how, I mean, it must have been loud.
Yeah, I think when it started, it was in 58, 59 is when it started, and there was a few hundred or 1,000 people there. It grew. The last year there were 14,000 people.
I can't fathom. I can't fathom what that must have looked like in
14,000
Grafton.
people come to town, and it can be a hot button, especially in those later years, depending on where you were, and it was the last year did have some struggles, but there was a lot of time in between that it was. A good event.
It sort of reminds me of that 50s movie, The Wild One. Did you ever see it with
I
Marlon
haven't,
Brando?
but I've heard of it, yeah.
Oh, it's just the motorcycle gang goes into the little town and the people react, but then the Marlon Brando, the head of the motorcycle gang, falls in love with the lady at the diner. And it's really a good movie.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of comments, a lot of the comments on this particular Facebook thread were like, there was maybe like, a few that were, but they also did some good. And you say that was a fundraiser. That's the ironic
It was a fundraiser for the school. It was their only fundraiser for the year. The mothers would get together and they'd cook and they'd bake, and the kids would go up and they would serve the attendees, their cookies and their whatevers, and that was the only fundraiser they had to do for the whole year, and it paid for
like
their
a
field
huge
trips.
bake sale, huh?
Yeah, and it paid for everything. It was
huge bake sale with a very captive audience.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, and we did have one of our conversations. It was we had some special guests. We had some racers there. We had the organizer of the event. That was really special. We did record that. That will go up on the website. We'll have some we have the checkered flags. We have copies of the original posters if people want to buy those. We have those, and that'll all be part of the display.
That's really
when it goes
cool.
back
I
out.
think I don't know. I just think that like I didn't really know that much about them. I've learned it all here, and I just think that's really cool. I mean, think about it.
It's
Back in
definitely
the day.
a piece of our local history that's different than there's a church here, or there's an old
Yeah,
store
exactly,
here.
exactly.
It's unique.
It is very unique.
Is the place where they did the scramble still there?
It is. It's still owned by the descendants of Pearlie Bell, who put that on. But the track changed. He modified the track, and that was the story goes that was one of the main reasons why they didn't do it in '69 was because the track was different. He bulldozed some of the hills that.
Made it like more.
He had a
tame.
plane and he wanted to land it up there, and so he
interesting.
bulldozed it to make it a little more flatter, and that took away some of what the bikers really enjoyed.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the scrambles were more like BMX dirt bike thing.
Yeah, but
would be the modern
with motors and no suspension and very little helmets.
I was gonna say, and no
Yeah.
safety precautions.
Yeah, some of those videos of those guys coming off that top jump and they wouldn't land for 40, 50 feet. And
Oh my
you
god.
think those did not have.
crazy.
Uh,
Yeah.
So, what are ways? We only have a little less than a minute. What are ways that people could help the Grafton Historical Society?
Oh, of course, just like everybody else, we're looking for donations. But if any of digitization or preservation or something like that interests you, you don't have to be part of the board to be on a committee. We love folks that are interested in joining a committee, whether it's to help us preserve the building, whether it's to help us digitize, or even help prepare for the different events that we have, fundraising committees. So that's one way. Of course, donations. We're always looking for donations, and just participating. I think the biggest thing really is coming out and being part of the community and
you don't have to live in
having supper.
Grafton to
And
go
you
to
don't have to live in
something in
Grafton.
Grafton.
No, we have a number of folks on our board that do not live in Grafton, which is part of the fun. So
Perfect.
Great. Well,
Okay.
drawing to an end. Another week. Thank you, Mario,
thank
for
you
coming
for
out.
having me.
It's
It's always a pleasure.
Yes. And that's
Right.
it for this week. We'll see you next week on the feed.
Bye, community.
Mike and Marty.